number 24, Colin Poole. Batting 7th, left fielder number 14, Hayden Carbone. And batting 8th, shortstop number 5, Riley Summers. Batting 9th, second baseman number 7, Davis Berger. And on the mound for the Generals, number 1, Mason Riley. And now, it's time for your Colorado Lumberjacks. Leading up for your Lumberjacks, left fielder number 18, Tyler Vaughn. Batting second, shortstop number 8, Josh Miller. Batting third baseman number 17, Damian Fisher. Batting fourth, designated hitter number 34, Elias Rainier. Batting fifth, second baseman number 5, Mason Regan. Batting sixth, catcher number 12, Bryson Satterley. Batting seventh, first baseman number 26, Gino Macarini. Batting eighth, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo. And batting ninth, right fielder number 4, Cooper Snyder. And on the mound for your Lumberjacks, number 33, Trent Jacobs. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Hello, fans. Good afternoon. We welcome you back to Kelly McGregor Field here at All-Star Park in Lakewood, Colorado for another exciting edition of Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. As today, your Colorado Lumberjacks take on the visitors, the Denver Generals, a team who back on June 16th fell to your Lumberjacks by a final score of 9-5. Couple of substitutions today for the Jacks. Josh Miller going to be playing at shortstop. Damian Fisher coming in to play third base for Zach Perry. And then Johnny Robledo will be out in center field. Gino Macarini at first base. Rounding out the remaining defensive starters for your Jacks, Tyler Vaughn in his normal spot out in left field. Josh Miller, shortstop, as I mentioned. Fisher at third. Elias Rainier will be playing designated hitter today. Mason Regan out there at second base. Behind the dish is going to be Bryce Satterley. Gino Macarini at first, as I mentioned. Johnny Robledo center field. Cooper Snyder out in right. And then on the mound starting today for your Jacks is number 33, Trent Jacobs. So a bit of a topsy-turvy week last week for the Jacks. They fell in their 2 games in Liberal. BJ's was able to pick up a win last week here at All-Star Park against the Boulder 64s. They fell over the weekend, and now they're back in action this week, wearing their gold jerseys, white pants, taking on the Denver Generals, a team 12-12 on the season, 2-3 of their last 5 games. They're going to be wearing green, and Gunnar Hetrick, the center fielder, number 12, is going to lead things off for the Generals.
Center fielder, number 12, Gunnar Hetrick.
So the first pitch from Jacobs is in there for strike one, and we are underway. Temperature here at All-Star Park can only be described as, let's call it hair dryer. It's hot. The wind is blowing in from the outfield as the 0-1 pitch is inside for ball one. So the count 1-1 against Hetrick. Playing his ball at Evangel University, and Hetrick swings and misses on a fastball high and outside. So the count 1-2 in favor of Trent Jacobs. Here's the 1-2 from Jacobs, and that is a breaking ball inside for ball two. So the count now 2-2. Jacobs having a couple of outings last week in relief for the Jacks, now starting on the mound today. Here's the 2-2 to Hetrick, and that ball is smacked to the shortstop, and that's going to get through into left field for a leadoff single for Hetrick. Josh Miller unable to make the play there, got down.
The Generals catcher, number
ball
10,
bounced over his glove, so
Perry.
Hetrick on base, and Cannon Perry, now the catcher, number 10, a lefty, will step into the box to face Jacobs. Apologies, Hetrick playing his ball at Kansas Wesleyan, or at least he will be next year when he steps on campus. Cannon Perry playing his baseball at Evangel University takes a look at a high ball one. Jacobs, also a lefty, takes a look at first base and then delivers a beautiful breaking ball low that Perry swings on, so the count 1-1. Overcast skies here in Lakewood, Colorado. Wind blowing in from left field. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back high and nearly out of play, redirecting off of the mesh netting here at All-Star Park, so the count 1-2. Second time that Jacobs has had a 1-2 friendly count in his favor. Jacobs takes a look over at first base. Now here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is a breaking ball way outside that Satterley does well to block. So now the count 2-2. Perry will take some time here as the umpire adjusts his helmet. Once again, Ben Canvasser here for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to have you with us on this Tuesday afternoon. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Jacobs, and same pitch, same location, low and outside for ball three, so now the count full. Jacobs takes a look over at first base. Here's the full count pitch, and that ball is flared high into the air. Fisher's going to come under it to make the grab for the first out. Hetrick will stay at first base. And Perry is down on a fly out to third.
Number 15, Charlie Thompson.
Charlie Thompson now up to bat. Three at-bats, one hit in his last appearance against the Jacks. Takes a look at a first pitch, strike one. And the 0-1 pitch is fouled back over the dugout of the General, so now the count 0-2. Two singles in his last time out. Here's the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Good strikeout there for Trent Jacobs. Charlie Thompson takes a look at three pitches, goes down on three pitches, and the Jacks have two outs here in the top of the first.
Up next for the Generals, third baseman number 11, Logan Manuelo.
Logan Manuelo now the third baseman for the Generals, steps into the box, righty batter. Hetrick still at first base. Hetrick with a decent-sized lead. Here's the first pitch to Manuelo, and that's fouled back into the fence along the first base side. Manuelo, a ball player at Webster University, Hetrick goes. The throw down to second base is not going to be in time by Satterley. It was a good throw, just took a hop a little too late as it got down to Mason Regan. Regan unable to make the tag. So now Hetrick at second. Here's the pitch and a swing and a miss there by Manuelo. So the count 1-2. Trent Jacobs, after giving up a leadoff single, looking to go 1-2-3. Heath Perry on deck. Here's the 1-2 from Jacobs. Swing and a miss. Trent Jacobs, back-to-back strikeouts. Gives up the single, but gets the next three. The Jacks will bat in the bottom half of the first inning when we return to All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. And we're back here at All-Star Park, bottom half of the first inning set to begin. The Jacks will bat. Kyler Vaughn will lead things off, followed by Josh Miller and Damian Fisher. They're going to be going up against Mason Riley, number 1 for the Generals. Just his second outing this season, through 3 innings in his first outing. Gave up 2 earned runs in those 3 innings. He'll face Kyler Vaughn, 2 home runs on the season, batting .220 on the year, and the Jacks Player of the Week last week. So Vaughn, number 18, will step into the box to lead things off, playing left field today for the Jacks.
Leading up for your Lumberjacks, left fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
So Vaughn to step in, facing Riley, the right-handed pitcher, Evangel University product, couple Evangel players on this Generals team. Vaughn takes a look at a first pitch strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Riley, breaking ball. That stays high and inside for ball 1. Vaughn in his last game was that game against Boulder last week. 4 at-bats, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Here's the 1-1 from Riley. Swing and a miss by Vaughn on a fastball down and away. So the count in favor of Riley. Infield playing deep for the Generals. Late arriving crowd here at All-Star Park. Riley taking his time. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Vaughn goes down swinging. They'll bring up Josh Miller, the shortstop. Bethany Lutheran College ball player, the shortstop number 8 for your Jacks.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, shortstop number 8, Josh Miller.
Miller had 4 hits in his last game, June 29th, against the Liberal BJs. Here's the first pitch from Riley, and Miller tags that one into center field, but coming over to make the grab is Gunnar Hetrick. Hetrick had to cover a lot of distance, but was successful there, so Miller goes down swinging on one pitch, or flies out on one pitch.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, third baseman number 17, Damian Fisher.
So now Damian Fisher, the third baseman, up to bat. Just 4 pitches thrown so far in this game for Mason Riley. Riley takes a good amount of time selecting his pitch. Here's the first pitch. Is in there for strike 1 to Fisher. Fisher with an open stance, wearing a pair of all-white New Balance cleats. Infield still playing deep. Here's the 0-1 from Riley. And that ball is chopped up through the gap. Riley plays it over to the shortstop. And Summers barehanded that ball, but decided not to throw it over to first. So Damian Fisher is going to be rewarded with a single there, and that'll bring up Elias Frenier.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Frenier.
So Frenier with some power, getting the day off from first base. Gino Maccarini playing the bag today for the Jacks. Frenier, tall, open stance, lefty batter. Fisher at first base with a sizable lead. Here's the first pitch from Riley, and that is in there for strike 1. Riley taking a look over at first base. Fisher extending his lead. Frenier. Here's the 0-1. Frenier flares that ball high into the air down the third base line, and this ball is going to be caught. Manuelo makes the grab. Much like the Generals, the Jacks get a man on first, but that's all they'll get. We head to the second inning. It's tied 0-0 here at All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to All-Star Park. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Score 0-0, 1 hit aside as we head to the second inning between the Generals and your Jacks. Trent Jacobs on the mound for the Jacks after giving up the leadoff single to Hetrick. Able to come back, get a fly out, and then back-to-back swinging strikeouts. He's now going to face Heath Perry, batting .200 on the season, but a on-base percentage of .478.
Heath Perry.
Perry, number 23, another Evangel University player, takes a look at a first pitch strike. Beautiful breaking ball right down the middle. Playing right field today. Jacobs working quickly, and Perry laces that ball into left field. He'll get there on a single. Kyler Vaughn does well to cut that ball off before it gets to the wall, but it's another leadoff single for the Generals.
Up next for the Generals, designated hitter number 21, Colin Poole.
So now Colin Poole up to bat with a .545 on-base percentage against the lefty Jacobs. Here's the first pitch to Poole. Satterly Good scoop to keep Perry at first base. Count 1-0 against Poole. Designated hitter today. Jacobs takes a look at first base. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that ball is slapped fouled on the first base side, so the count 1-1. Poole playing his college ball out in Cleveland, Ohio at Case Western University. Having some words with our home plate umpire, all jokes. His home plate ump threw a mean 1-2 punch there. Set to go back with the count 1-1. And Poole follows that one off his shin, so the count 1-2 in favor of Trent Jacobs. Poole's only struck out 3 times this season, but he's behind the count 1-2. 2 hits on the year, both those singles. Here's the 1-2 from Jacobs, and that ball is fouled back right in front of us against the protective netting, so the count remains 1-2. No outs here in the top of the second. Wind blowing in from left field out towards center. Might make things a tad difficult today for Johnny Robledo playing out there in center field. Here's the 1-2 from Jacobs, breaking ball that stays outside for ball 2. Middle infielders Regan and Fisher playing close to second base. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that is inside for ball 3, so now the count full against Jacobs. Poole looking to get on. This just his 4th game played this season. Jacobs has his pitch. Satterley sets up outside. Here's the 3-2, and that ball is slapped high and foul back out of play. Count will remain 3-2. This is a good at-bat for Colin Poole, staying alive. And unfortunately, working the pitch count of Trent Jacobs higher than I'm sure Jacobs would have wanted after this at-bat. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Jacobs, and that ball is slapped into center field. Robledo's going to let that one drop. It took an awkward hop off the turf here at All-Star Park. And the throw to third base is going to get cut off by Damian Fisher. Heath Perry goes all the way to third base, and that's going to be a double for Colin Poole.
Generals, left fielder number 14, Hayden Carbone.
So 2 runners in scoring position. Score still 0-0 between the Jacks and the Generals, but the Generals threatening here in the second inning. Hayden Carbone now up to bat, and that first pitch is fouled back out of play, so the count 0-1. Interesting play there for Johnny Robledo playing center field. He's coming up to make the play, but it took a impossibly high bounce. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that ball is smacked once again into center field. Miller can't make the play. 1 run will score. They'll hold Poole up at third base. Now runners at the corners and still with no outs here in the second.
Up next for the Generals, shortstop number 5, Riley Summers.
So it's a bloop hit single for Hayden Carbone as Perry came around to score. Poole goes to third. And now Riley Summers up to bat. There's 3 hits this top half of the second inning for the Generals. That's 4 already in this game through 1 inning. The 0-1 from Jacobs, and that is high for ball 1. Jacobs takes a look over at first base. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and has a breaking ball low and outside for ball 2. Trent Jacobs, who had such a good first inning after surrendering the leadoff hit to Gunnar Hetrick, came back with 2 strikeouts to end the inning. On another dangerous spot. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Runner goes. Satterley will not throw down. So that is a steal for Hayden Carbone. Count 2-2 against Summers. Davis Berger on deck for the Generals. Open stance for Summers, playing shortstop today. Once again, another Evangel University ball player. Now the manager for the Jacks is going to come out to have a word with our home plate umpire. It looked like from back here that Satterley was trying to throw down. And from where we're sitting, it's hard to really see exactly what happened, but it almost seemed like as Satterley went back to throw, he made contact with the chest protector of our home plate umpire and was unable to throw that ball down. So the count 2-2 against Riley Summers. Runners at second and third. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Jacobs. And is a slow chopping ball. This is going to be a play at home. Instead, Jacobs will throw to first base. Bad decision. Summers is on his way to second. That will score the third run for the Generals. And the score is now 3-0 in favor of Denver.
Now batting for the Generals, second baseman number 7, Davis Berger.
So Trent Jacobs with a questionable decision to throw the ball over to first base. Threw it high over the head of Macarini. And the Generals were able to get 2, so the score is now 3-0. Davis Berger up to bat, the second baseman. He takes a look at a first pitch strike. Would have been an uncomfortable throw home for Jacobs, but the play could have been made. Satterley was ready for it. Summers is on second base, and that ball is laced to the shortstop. The throw by Miller over to first base is in time to Macarini, so that's the first out of the inning. Summers advances to third.
Up next for the Generals, center fielder number 12, Gunnar Hettricks.
Top of the order, up for the Generals. 1 out, top of the second inning, and Hettricks swings at a first pitch strike. Miller's camping under it. He'll make the grab. Runner will hold up at third base, so there's a massive second out for Trent Jacobs and the Jacks.
Now batting for the Generals, catcher number 10, Cannon Perry.
Cannon Perry flew out to the third baseman in the first inning. Now up to bat with the runner in scoring position again, and he takes a look at a first pitch strike outside. Perry, the catcher, with an open stance. Here's the 0-1 breaking ball, and I believe that made contact with Perry, and it did. So it's a hit by pitch. And he will go down to first base, so now runners at the corners with 2 outs.
Next for the Generals, first baseman number 15, Charlie Thompson.
Thompson struck out in the first. Charlie Thompson now up to bat, the first baseman. And the Jacks have already surrendered 3 here in the top of the second, looking to get out of this inning with this exact same score line. There's a first pitch fastball high for ball 1. Two errors in this inning for the Lumberjacks. And Thompson crushes that into left field, but coming over to make the grab is Kyler Vaughn. So the Generals strike first. They get 3 runs. The Jacks will bat in the bottom half of the second inning when we return to All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. And we're back here at All-Star Park. The score, the Generals 3, the Lumberjacks 0. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to have you with us on this Tuesday afternoon, soon to be evening. Generals got 3 in the top half of the second inning, queued up by 3 hits by Heath Perry, Colin Poole, and Hayden Carbone. Jacks will have the chance to rebuttal here with Mason Regan leading things off, the second baseman. Bryson Satterley and Gino Macarini also due up to bat this inning for the Jacks. Working against Mason Riley, who gave up 1 hit in the first inning to Damian Fisher. Other than that, it was a fly out to the first baseman, fly out to center field, and a leadoff strikeout.
Lumberjacks, second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
So Regan up to bat. A couple home runs on the year for big number 5 in gold. Here's the first pitch from Riley, and that is inside for ball 1 to Regan. Riley with an open stance on his pitching momentum here. And here's the 1-0 to Regan, and that is low for ball 2. Regan ahead of the count. As we've seen over the last couple of games, just how massive it is for this Jacks team to have the leadoff man on. Bryson Satterley, who last week in the game against the Boulder 64s, walked not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times in that game. Here's the 2-0 from Riley, is followed back right towards the Jacks dugout. So the count 2-1. Riley working very slowly on the pitcher's mound. Behind the count 2-1. Here is that 2-1 pitch to Regan. Swing and a miss on a fastball. So the count now even at 2. Riley looking for his second strikeout of the game. Regan looking to get on base. Sporting that blue helmet with the matching blue and white cleats. Here is the 2-2 from Riley. And that ball is flared high into the air. This one, trouble for the Generals, and it's going to get down. And Regan's on his way to second. Instead, it'll be held up at first base. Another awkward bounce off this outfield turf. But Regan on board with a leadoff single here in the second.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, catcher number 12, Bryson Satterley.
So Satterley up to bat. We've now seen twice in this game that these high hit fly balls into the outfield, if you're not on it, it's going to hop over your head. And Regan was looking to turn towards second. Smartly held up at first. So now Satterley working against Riley. Second hit of the game for the Jacks as Riley throws over to first base looking to get Regan. Regan safe at the bag. So here's the first pitch from Riley, and that's low and away for ball 1. Five plate appearances, 5 walks for Bryson Satterley against the Boulder 64s last week. And once again, the throw will be made over to first base, and once again, Mason Regan is safe. So Mason Riley has thrown 3 pitches in this at-bat. Only 1 has gone towards the plate. Regan with a large lead at first base. Riley takes a look. Here's the 1-0, and that is in there for strike 1 on a fastball. Catching the inside corner of the plate. Infield playing deep, Charlie Thompson tasked at first base with holding on Mason Regan. Regan in the crouching stance. The 1-1 pitch is flared into right field, and that's going to be a single for Bryson Satterley. Regan will hold up at second base. The first 2 men are aboard for the Jacks, and that's going to bring up Gino Macarini.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, first baseman number 26, Gino Macarini.
So the Lumberjacks giving the Generals a taste of their own medicine. First two batters aboard, no outs here in the bottom half of the second inning. Jacks still trail 3-0, but Gino Macarini looking to have something to say to that. Open stance out towards left field. Regan at first, Regan at second, Satterley at first, both with incredible speed. Here's the first pitch to Macarini, and that is strike one. Catching the smallest piece of the outside corner of the plate, so the count 0-1 against Macarini. It was a breaking ball that was just inside. Macarini with an open stance. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is low for ball one. So the count 1-1 is Regan really testing the limits out there at second base. Davis Berger, the nearest General to him. Thompson not holding Satterley on at first. Here's the 1-1 to Macarini, and that ball is slapped into the outfield. This one's going to get to the gap. This one's going to score too. It's up against the wall. Regan on his way home. Satterley closely behind him. Two runners will score for the Jacks, and Gino Macarini with a no-out RBI double, and the Jacks are back within one.
Now batting for your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
And Johnny Robledo up to bat. Satterley comes around to score. Regan comes around to score. Satterley almost lapped Regan there, rounding the bases, as Gino Macarini sent that one to the wall in between center field and right field. And now what does Robledo have to say? Tying run in this ball game at second base. Here's the first pitch to Riley, and that is ball one. Count 1-0 against Johnny Robledo, getting the nod at center field. And Mason Riley once again taking all the time in the world. Here's the 1-0 pitch, breaking ball, smacked high into the air, foul back behind us. So the count 1-1. Scottsdale Community College ball player is Johnny Robledo. Even in the count 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's low in the dirt. Gets behind the catcher. And Macarini could army crawl his way to third base. As he gets there successfully, now the tying run at third in the count 1-2 against Robledo. Apologies, count 2-1 against Johnny Robledo. And still no outs here in the bottom half of the second inning. Riley, who was so good in the first inning, struggling here. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball inside for ball three. So count really in favor of Johnny Robledo, with Cooper Nider waiting in the batter's box. And Lord knows how much power he has in the 9-hole spot. Wind really starting to whip out towards right field. Here's the 3-0 from Riley, and that is low and away for ball four. So runners at the corners and still no outs, and here comes Cooper Nider.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
So near mirror images of the first inning and the second inning for both the Jacks and the Generals. 4 hits aside for both these teams. 2 errors for the Jacks. Here's the first pitch to Nider, and that is in there for strike one. Cooper Nider had a big 3-run home run last time at this ballpark against the Boulder 64s to help lift the Jacks over the team from Boulder. Behind the count 0-1. And Riley will throw over to first base to test Johnny Robledo. Snyder playing right field. And Riley finding his pitch. Here's the 0-1. Runner goes, and Snyder follows that towards the Jacks dugout. So the count now 0-2 against Cooper Snyder. Robledo will go back to first base. Top of the order, and Kyler Vaughn waiting on deck. Struck out in the first inning. So Mason Riley looking for that very important first out. The tying run at third base. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Snyder, and that's low and away for ball one. Thompson holding the runner on at first base. Robledo with a large lead. Count 1-2 against Snyder. You wonder if Robledo's going again. And Robledo does go. There's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. There will be no throw down to second base, so Robledo will get there. Snyder goes down on strikes. And now runners at second and third for the Jacks. At the top of the order, and Kyler Vaughn up to bat.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, left fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
Second strikeout of the game for Mason Riley. 2 strikeouts apiece for both Riley and Jacobs. 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out for the Jacks. Big at bat early in this ball game for Kyler Vaughn. Here's the first pitch. And that ball is smacked down the first base side, and that's going to go just foul by a couple of feet. That would have easily scored 2 and could have made the case that Vaughn would safely get to third. But he'll make the slow trot back to the batter's box, and he's behind the count 0-1. Josh Miller waiting on deck for the Jacks. He's running out to make sure that all the base runners knew what to do. Vaughn thought he had Mason Riley there. And I believe so did we all. Behind the count 0-1, here's the 0-1 pitch from Riley. Breaking ball stays high for ball one. Big at bat for Kyler Vaughn. Infield playing deep. Heck, Davis Berger is halfway into right field right now. He'll step on the edge of the grass. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Kyler Vaughn. Fastball gets him. And Vaughn now behind in the count 1-2, looking to avoid striking out in his first 2 at-bats. Summers also on the grass there at shortstop. Macarini at second, Macarini at third, Robledo at second. Here is the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Another fastball. Vaughn can't catch up to it. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Mason Riley. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Kyler Vaughn. And now 2 outs for Josh Miller.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, shortstop number 8, Josh Miller.
So the Jacks had everything going for them in this inning. Now they find themselves with 2 outs, still 2 runners in scoring position. Miller flew out to the center fielder back in the first inning. Riley has his pitch, and here is the first pitch to Miller. And that is inside for ball one. Lumberjacks have done well to get back into this ball game. They trail 3-2, but I'm sure everybody in that black and gold dugout would love to get 1 or 2 more. The 1-0 from Riley. Swing and a miss on a fastball high by Miller. So Riley going away from the breaking ball. Steady diet of fastballs here over the last 2 at-bats. And the Jacks having trouble keeping up. Miller with an open stance towards left field. Both runners with sizable leads. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. That time he got him with a breaking ball. A little off-speed action, and now the count 1-2 in favor of Mason Riley, who, after giving up 2 runs in the first 4 batters of this inning, looking to go 3 consecutive strikeouts to end it. So here's the 1-2 from Riley. And just catching a piece was Miller to stay alive in this at-bat. Damian Fisher, who singled in the first inning, on deck. Jax crucially want to get this run in. I know we're early in the ballgame, just in the second inning. But 2 runners on, no outs. Now there's 2 runners on and 2 outs. Haven't been able to get that third tying run in. Here's the 1-2 from Riley. And that ball is going to be chopped to the third base side, making the play. Manuelo throws over to first, and that's going to do it. The Jacks do get 2. They're on the board. They trail by a score of 3-2. But the Generals got to feel good about getting out of that inning. They'll bat in the top half of the third when we return to All-Star Park. Welcome back to All-Star Park. Set to begin the third inning of action between the Lumberjacks and the Generals. Generals were able to score 3 in the top half of the second. Jacks came back with 2 runs of their own, left 2 stranded.
Leading off,
and now Logan Manuelo up to bat.
Third baseman number 11, Logan Manuelo.
Manuelo made a good play at third base to end the Jacks' attack in the second. Struck out to end things in the first. And Jacobs' first pitch is very much outside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch fouled back out of play. That's going to stay in. That's a free chicken sandwich if somebody wants to get over to it. Not a lot of movement from the crowd here at All-Star Park. Count 1-1 against Manuelo. And the 1-1 pitch is outside for ball 2. Manuelo batting 200 on the season. Takes a look at ball 3. One home run on the season, 4 RBIs, and he follows that ball high into the air. And that one's not going to stay in the park. That's going to go out foul. So the count out full against Manuelo. There's no chicken sandwich there. Big 3-2 pitch here from Jacobs. And that ball is smacked high into the air. Robledo is going to camp under it and make the grab for the first out of the inning for the Jacks.
Next up for the Generals, right fielder number 23, Heath Perry.
Heath Perry now up to bat, got things going for the Generals in the second inning, led things off with a single. Right fielder was able to come around and score for the first run of the game for the Generals. Here's the first pitch, and that is a breaking ball way outside for Trent Jacobs. So the count 1-0. It's the 1-0 from Jacobs, and that is high and inside for ball 2. Jacobs working very fast, the 2-0 pitch, and that is inside for ball 3. So quickly, Heath Perry, who already reached ahead in the count 3-0, The second Jacob steps on the mound, he knows what pitch he's throwing, and here is that 3-0 or that 3-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike one. On the other side, you have Mason Riley, who takes a good 4 to 5 seconds choosing his pitch. There's the 3-1, and that ball is fouled back out of play. So Trent Jacobs battles himself back into this at-bat. The count is full against Heath Perry. Here's the 3-2 from Trent, and that ball is looped high into the air into left field. And this one, potentially danger, but there's Kyler Vaughn to make the grab. As that ball kept carrying, Vaughn camped under it, made the grab. 2 outs here in the third inning.
Next up for the Generals, designated hitter number 21, Colin Poole.
Colin Poole doubled in the second inning. He's now up to bat. Got to second base on the massive hop in right field. Here's the first pitch from Trent. That ball is flared down the first base side, and that's going foul. Jacobs working so quickly, it's almost hard to keep up with the pitches. Can't get any stats in. Not the worst thing in the world. Jacobs trying to go 1-2-3 in the third. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. So Poole behind 0-2. Infield playing normal depth. Regan playing actually deep. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball low and inside for ball one. And I'm sure Regan is playing deep, and a lot of these players are actually playing deep based on how high these bounces have been. Here's the 1-2 from Trent, and that is low for ball two. Jacobs ready to go. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just outside for ball three. We've seen that called strike in this contest, but it was significantly outside, so the count full. 2 outs here in the top of the third. The 3-2 pitch is popped high into the air. Nider right there. He'll make the grab. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Trent Jacobs and the Jacks. They'll bat in the bottom half of the third inning when we return to All-Star Park. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to Kelly McGregor Field. We're in the bottom half of the third inning between your Colorado Lumberjacks and the Denver Generals. Ben Canvasser for the Jacks here with you. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the weather and temperature here can only be described as, let's call it hairdryer weather. Incredibly hot and humid, wind consistently blowing. Even us here in the broadcast booth, which is a beautiful broadcast booth, I have to say, at All-Star Park, we have the fans going, and the sweat is definitely beginning to show. Jacks find themselves down 3-2. Trent Jacobs did well to get a 1-2-3 inning. Now Damian Fisher up to bat.
Leading off for the Lumberjacks, third baseman number 17, Damian Fisher.
Fisher singled in the first inning. The lone hit in that inning for the Jacks against Mason Riley. Riley's first pitch is popped high into the air. Manuela will come in to make the grab, so 1 pitch and 1 out for the Generals.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Rainier.
Elias Frenier now up to bat. He also flew out to Manuelo, who's been busy at third base today for the Generals. And here's the first pitch from Riley to Frenier, and that is in there for strike 1, catching the outside corner of the plate. Sun beginning to shine now at All-Star Park, peeking through the clouds. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is outside for ball 1. So the count 1-1 against big Elias Frenier, playing designated hitter today. Getting the off day from the field as he swings at a fastball outside for strike 2. Elias Frenier recently committed to Cal State San Bernardino to play his college baseball. The Yotes, the 2026 CCAA tournament champions, out there in San Bernardino. Frenier behind 1 and 2. Here to Riley. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's high and away for ball 2. Frenier batting .364 on the season. Here's the 2-2. And that ball is chopped down the third base line. That's fair. Frenier on his way to second. He could coast there. Instead, he'll settle for a light jog. He'll get there standing up, and it's a 1-out double for Elias Frenier.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
So tying run back in scoring position, Mason Regan, who led things off last inning with a single, looking to tie this game for the Jacks. Now the 5th hit of the game for the Lumberjacks. So they've taken over in that department. The score is one thing that needs to change in the third as Riley takes a look back at second base. Here's the first pitch to Regan. It's a breaking ball. Ooh, that is called strike. Regan wants some clarification on that call. Frenier with a decent lead at second base, being held on by Berger. Summers playing in his normal spot at shortstop. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Regan, and that is same location in there for ball 1. Bryson Satterley waiting on deck for the Jacks. Frenier with a large lead. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a changeup right down the middle. Regan was looking for a home run there. Now he's behind in the count 1-2. Riley looking for his 3rd strikeout of the game. Check that, his 4th strikeout of the game. Working with a slower pace than Trent Jacobs. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that ball is going to be chopped up. Is it going to get through the gap? It is not. Coming over to make the play is Summers. The throw over to first base is in time for the 2nd out of the inning. So Frenier will go to 3rd. Regan's out at 1st. And the Jacks have 2 outs in the 3rd.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, it's the catcher, number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Satterley up to bat, once again singled in the 2nd inning. Came around to score on the Gino Maccarini RBI double. Maccarini waiting in the wings on deck. Tying run at 3rd base, represented by Elias Frenier. Here's the first pitch to Satterley. And that ball is looped high into the air into center field. Is this one danger? Is this one going to drop? Yes, it is! Gets up against the wall. Satterley to second. He'll hold up there. It's an RBI double for Bryson Satterley. And this game is all tied up. RBI double. The second RBI of the double of the game for the Jacks.
Number 26, Gino Maccarini.
So we're all tied up. 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. Bryson Satterley, clutch. Already 2 hits in this game, and now can Gino Maccarini do it again and give the Jacks the lead? Gino with an incredibly open stance down the third base line. Here's the first pitch, and that ball is flared high into the air. And that's going to go behind us for a foul ball on the count 0-1. Jacks have done some damage over the last 2 innings, but the game remains tied. 6 hits. 3 of those hits doubles. There's the 0-1 pitch to Maccarini, and that ball is going to be chopped to the third base side. Manuelo's going to have to come up and make a play. He does. Coming off the bag is Thompson. He makes the tag, but the Jacks get 1 more. They've tied it up in the third. We head to the 4th at Kelly McGregor Field. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. We're back here at All-Star Park. The score tied between the Generals and the Jacks, and we have a new pitcher for your Colorado Lumberjacks as Trent Jacobs' day is done.
Fielder number 14, Hayden Carbone.
Jacobs giving up 3 hits. Jacobs giving up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. He'll give way for James Lawrence, a tall, powerful righty pitcher for the Jacks. And he's going to face Hayden Carbone, who singled and scored 2 in the second inning. Metro State ball players. Lawrence's first pitch is going to be chopped down to the third base side. Can Fisher make the play at first? He cannot. Won't even make the throw over, so it's 1 pitch and another single for Hayden Carbone.
Up next for the Generals, shortstop number 5, Riley Summers.
Riley Summers, a lefty batter, will now step into the box. Advance on an error by Trent Jacobs. Carbone with a huge lead. Here's the first pitch, and that is in there for strike 1. Satterley was set up outside, but that ball came back in right over the middle. A little bit of an awkward play for Bryson Satterley, but the count 0-1 against Summers. Carbone with a short first lead. Now he'll throw over to first base. And Summers gets back to the bag as Lawrence nearly timed that perfectly. Summers takes a short first lead and begins inching his way ever so slightly down towards second. Here's the 0-1 from Lawrence. High and away for ball one. This Generals team 2-1 in their last 3 games. Their last time out, a 3-1 loss to Diamond Club. The 1-1 pitch, changeup right down the middle, strike 2. Big swing there by Summers. Last time these two teams faced was back on June 16th. The Jacks got the better of the Generals by a final score of 9-5. Jacks looking to go for 2-0. Lawrence throws over to first base. Ball was lightly tossed, just looking to keep Carbone honest. Fifth hit of the game for the Generals on that Hayden Carbone single. Here's the 1-2 from Lawrence. And that ball is inside for ball 2. Once again, another example of Satterley setting up outside. And that ball coming back in over the middle. That one looked close to being a called third strike. Instead, the count will be 2-2. Lawrence takes a look over at first base. Here's the 2-2. That ball is going to be chopped into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Carbone is on his way to third base. The throw over to third. This one's going to be close, and the tag is made. And Carbone is going to be safe. I didn't see a signal by our home plate umpire, but Carbone is going to stay over at first base. Carbone over to third. Summers with a single
Next for the Generals, second
will stay at first.
7, Davis Berger.
Carbone on third, Summers on first. Davis Berger now up to bat with runners at the corners and still no outs. Here's the first pitch to Berger, and that's in there for strike 1. James Lawrence in a tough spot as he throws over to first base. Coming into a tie ball game. First 2 batters on for the Generals. Carbone was cruising out there. It didn't look like it, but the throw from Cooper Nider nearly there. The throw down to second base as the runner goes is going to be held up. Carbone goes back to third base. Josh Miller had to back up Regan to keep that ball in the infield. So the count 0-2, but now runners at second and third for the Generals. Big pitch upcoming for James Lawrence. Has to get this out. There's the 0-2 from Lawrence, and that bounces in. Satterley blocks it, so the count goes 1-2. Bryson Satterley has done well this entire game at keeping balls in front of him. I don't want to jinx him, so I'm going to knock on whatever piece of wood I can find here in the press box. It's the 1-2 from Lawrence. That ball is going to be chopped to Miller at shortstop. It's going to go under his glove, and 2 runs are going to score. Summers comes home on the error from Josh Miller, and it's a 2-run error that puts the Generals on top 5-3.
Up next for the Generals, center fielder number 12, Gunnar Hettricks.
So Gunnar Hettricks up to bat. That's the second time in this ballgame an error has cost the Jacks 2 runs, or given the Generals 2 runs. As Lawrence throws over to first base to check on Berger. Hettricks singled in the first, flew out to Miller in the second takes a look at a first pitch strike. Third error of the game for the Jacks. Here's the 0-1 from Lawrence, and that's low and away for ball one. Lawrence taking a long look in. Berger with a sizable lead over at first base. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball high and inside for ball two. That sun we had for a second is now gone here at All-Star Park. Lawrence throws over to first base. Berger easily able to get over there. Satterley sets up outside. Here comes the 2-1 pitch from Lawrence. Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second base, and Regan can't get the tag because the ball was not there in time from Bryson Satterley, so it's a steal for Davis Berger. Now Pat Williamson will come out to once again have a word with the home plate umpire to check on Bryson Satterley. So that ball did not get there. The count now 2-2 against Hetrix. Nobody covering Berger at second base. Here comes the 2-2 from Lawrence. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout from James Lawrence to get the first out of the inning for the Jacks. And the runner still at second base. Cannon Perry now up to bat.
Up next for the Generals, catcher number 10, Cannon Perry.
Now Josh Miller will begin to shade behind Davis Berger at second base. Perry was hit by a pitch in the second. Miller will return to his spot. Here's the first pitch to Perry. That's going to go to Mason Regan in second. He'll throw it over to Macarini at first. Now
batting for the Generals, first
Jacks
baseman,
have 2
number
outs.
15, Charlie Thompson.
Berger goes over to third base. Charlie Thompson up to bat. Struck out in the first. Flew out to the left fielder, Kyler Vaughn, in the second. And Thompson down there for strike one. Logan Manuelo on deck. There's the 0-1 from Lawrence, and that is low and away for ball one. Infield playing back on the artificial grass here at Kelly McGregor Field. Outfield playing very deep. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that ball is going to be chopped foul back towards Pat Williamson. The count 1-2. Now against Charlie Thompson. Playing first base today for the Generals. Satterley setting up outside. Here's the 1-2 from Lawrence. Low and outside for ball two. So the count 2-2 with 2 outs. The Generals have already scored 2. The third run is 90 feet away at third base, represented by Davis Berger. Here's the 2-2 from Lawrence. And that is apparently low for ball 3. So the count now full against Charlie Thompson. Massive pitch upcoming. Logan Manuelo on deck. He's 0 for 2 in the game. So is Charlie Thompson. Lawrence trying to make him go 0 for 3. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got Charlie Thompson swinging in a pitch he did not want to. But the Generals get 2 on the error from Josh Miller. The Jacks will bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning when we return to Kelly McGregor Field at All-Star Park. Back here at All-Star Park, the Generals have made their pitching change as Hayden Morton, number 26, now in the
Leading out for your
ballgame.
Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
Morton to face Robledo, who walked in the second inning. And Robledo tags that first pitch into center field. It's a leadoff single for Johnny Robledo. And the Jacks in business here in the fourth. Cooper Nider now up to bat for the Jacks.
Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Nider struck out in the second inning. Robledo with tons of speed at first base. I wonder if he's going to test Morton. And that ball gets away from the catcher, Cannon Perry. Robledo takes the turn towards third. He'll get to second easily. We've had 2 pitches here in the fourth inning, and the Jacks already have a man in scoring position. Morton hasn't pitched for the Generals since June 15th. Through 2 innings in relief in that outing. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a breaking ball in there for strike 1. So they count 1-1. He faced 14 batters in that 2-inning outing. Gave up 4 hits and 7 earned runs. There's the 1-1 for Morton, and that is inside again for strike 2. So Nider behind in the count 1-2, looking to avoid striking out for the second consecutive time today. Here's the 1-2 from Morton, and that bounces in. Robledo's going to go to third base. The play's going to be close, but Perry doesn't throw over. So that's back-to-back steals for Johnny Robledo. Back-to-back pass balls by Cannon Perry. And with no outs here in the fourth, Jacks have a man on third base as Nider now even in the count 2-2. Here's the 2-2 to Nider, and that is a called third strike. Outside corner of the plate, questionable to say the least, but that's the first out of the inning for the Generals as the second strikeout of the game for Cooper Nider.
Kyler Vaughn.
So Kyler Vaughn, who struck out twice in this game, same thing as Cooper Nider, takes a look at a first pitch strike here in the fourth. Jacks need to get this run in from third base, and Johnny Robledo get this back to a 1-run game. 7 hits in this ball game for the Jacks. Here's the 0-1 from Morton, and that is inside for ball 1. Vaughn with a close stance. 1-1. That ball is flared high into the air. Easy play for Berger. Robledo will stay at third base, and just like that, the Generals already with 2 outs. Brings up Josh Miller.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, shortstop number 8, Josh Miller.
So Miller, 0 for 2 in the game. Flew out to center in the first, grounded out the shortstop, Riley Summers, in the second. Now up to bat with Johnny Robledo at third base. Here's the first pitch from Morton. That ball is going to be chopped. This is going to be a tough play. That's going to be made by the Generals and Davis Berger. So the Jacks leave a man stranded on third. Robledo got there with no outs. Hayden Morton goes 1-2-3 after giving up the leadoff single. We head to the 5th inning at Keller McGregor Field. Jacks trail the Generals by a score of 5-3.
Okay, Lumberjacks fans.
Back here at All-Star Park, Jacks trail the Generals by the score of 5-3. As we head to the fifth inning, it's now the K for Queso inning presented by Torchy's Tacos of Belmar.
Baseman number 11, Logan Manuelo.
So Logan Manuelo will step into the box. If James Lawrence can record a strikeout here in the fifth, everybody in the ballpark gets a free side of green chili queso, courtesy of Torchy's of Belmar, a proud sponsor. And Manuelo laces that into center field. This one's trouble. It's going to be caught. Johnny Robledo on his horse, making the grab. That ball surely was headed for the fence.
Generals, right fielder number 23, Heath Perry.
What a catch by Johnny Robledo. That ball was laced by Manuelo. But it's one pitch and one out for James Lawrence. It's not a queso out, but it's still big. Heath Perry now up to bat. He chops that to the third base side. Fisher, long throw over to first base. It's high, but able to get his foot on the bag was Gino Macarini.
Next for the Generals, left fielder number 14, Hayden Carbone.
So an incredibly fast inning so far. It's been two pitches. It's been two outs.
For the Generals, number 21, Colin Poole.
Colin Poole now up to bat. The Jacks needed a quick inning, and a great throw by Damian Fisher, but an even better play by Gino Macarini at first, and now the first pitch to Poole is outside for ball one. One 0 from Lawrence, and that ball is going to be chopped to Regan. Regan will make the throw over to Macarini. It's four pitches. It's three outs. It's not a queso inning, but it is an all-important 1-2-3 inning for James Lawrence and this Jacks defense. They'll bat in the bottom half of the fifth inning when we return to All-Star Park. Jacks trail the Generals by a score of 5-3. We're back here at All-Star Park. Set to begin the bottom half of the fifth inning. Damian Fisher, who made a good play over at third base,
Lumberjax, third baseman number
would lead things off here against Hayden Morton.
Fisher.
And Fisher takes a look at a first pitch ball. So the Jacks leading in the hits category, trailing in the runs category, but the issue tonight has been that error category as Fisher swings and misses at a fastball outside. 3 errors today for the Colorado Lumberjacks. 3 runs coming on those 3 errors as the 1-1 pitch is in the dirt for ball 2. Morton working a little bit quicker than Riley, and that ball is laced on the third base side, and it goes foul. Counts 2-2 against Damian Fisher. Singled in the first, flew out to Manuelo back in the third inning. Count even for Fisher, 2-2. That ball is smacked high into the air down the third base line, and this one, once again, foul. That ball was crushed. I got to be honest with you, folks, that parking lot out there in left field is incredibly close to that fence. Don't hear any car alarms going off. Can see my car through the fence. I think we're all good. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That bounces in for ball 3, so the count now full. Jacks would love to get the leadoff batter on. Damian Fisher has some wheels. Here's the 3-2 for Morton. Breaking ball is chopped foul once again down the third base line. That's now 3 times in this at-bat that Fisher has fouled the ball hard down third base. I believe our home plate umpire is out of balls. Little resupply here with the count still full. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jacks trail the Generals, score 5-3. Infield playing deep and in for the Generals. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that is ball 4. It's high. Fisher walks, leadoff man on for the Jacks. Elias Frenier now up to bat.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Frenier.
Frenier doubled in the 3rd inning. Flew out to Manuelo in the 1st. Here's the first pitch to Frenier, and that's a swing and a miss. And an off-speed pitch outside. Frenier with a ton of power in that bat. And Fisher fast on first base. The 0-1 pitch is outside for ball 1. Summers and Berger playing closer towards second base. Now have moved in from the grass. Here's the 1-1 to Frenier, and that gets away from the catcher Perry. Fisher goes to second base on the pass ball. And a little deja vu for the Jacks with a runner in scoring position, no outs. Count 2-1 against Elias. Mason Regan waiting on deck. Morton takes a look back at second base. Here's the 2-1 to Frenier. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball that stayed outside. The count is now 2-2. Frenier needing to be a little bit more patient with some of these breaking balls as he's committing to the swing a little too early. Here's the 2-2 to Frenier. Swing and a miss on another breaking ball. Got him at the knees. And a big strikeout for Hayden Morton.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, it's second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
Mason Regan up to bat. Mason's had a decent game. Singled in the 2nd, grounded out to the shortstop in the 3rd inning as a runner in scoring position. Looking to get this game back within 1 run as the first pitch is fouled back out of play. McCook Community College is where Mason Regan plays his college ball. Squatting stance, closed stance for the second baseman. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball inside, ball 1. Bryson Satterley waiting on deck. He's had a good game, a single and an RBI double in the 3rd. One coming here to Regan. And that is low and away for ball 2. And Damian Fisher is getting almost halfway to third base once this pitch is thrown by Morton. Now Berger shades over towards second base. The throw will go back to second base. Looping ball not meant to get Damian Fisher, but more or less just to let him know that Morton has his eye on him. Here's the 2-1 to Regan. And that ball is smacked high into the air. Did he get enough of it? He did not. He's coming over to make the grab was Hayden Carbone. That ball was smoked off the bat, and I thought for sure that ball was gone, but instead it's the 2nd out of the inning.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, it's catcher number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Now Bryson Satterley up to bat. Damian Fisher, who led off the inning with a walk, is on second base. Be the 2nd inning in the row. The Jacks have had the leadoff man on. Here's the first pitch to Satterley. That is low for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, high and inside for ball 2. Satterley walked 5 times last week against the Boulder 64s. Has gotten on twice today with a single and an RBI double. Morton takes a look back at second base. Here's the 2-0 to Satterley, and that bounces in. This time, Perry's able to keep it in front of him, but the count is 3-0. Gino Macarini on deck. He had an RBI double, a 2-run RBI double in the second inning. 3-0 pitch to Satterley, and that is right down the middle for strike 1. The count now 3-1 against Satterley. Big spot. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that ball is fouled back out of play, so the count is full. And another huge spot for the Jacks. Already have left 3 men on in scoring position in this game, looking to avoid leaving a 4th. With Damian Fisher at second base, here comes the payoff pitch. And that ball bounces in. Fisher will go to third. Satterley walks for the first time today, so now runners at the corners for Macarini.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, it's the first baseman, number 26, Gino Macarini.
Macarini in a huge spot here in the 5th inning. A lot of baseball still to play. But the Jacks looking to cut into this lead. They trail 5-3. Not a big lead. But this Generals team does have some offense. Their last 2 wins, they scored 8 runs and 11 runs, respectively. Runners at the corners. Here's the first pitch to Macarini, and that's a broken bat. Looper, is this going to get down? It is not. Making the play, Heath Perry. So the Jacks strand 2 more. They get 0 in the 5th. We head to the 6th inning. Generals on top 5-3. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. So we're back here at All-Star Park, set to begin the 6th inning of action between the Colorado Lumberjacks and the Denver Generals. James Lawrence still on the mound for the Jacks. I believe we might be having a substitution here, as this does not look to be Hayden Carbone. So we have a pinch hitter coming in for Carbone, who is playing in left field. I believe this is number 27, Isaac Lowe. Just to confirm once he turns around, make sure I got the right number. It is, in fact, number 27, Isaac Lowe. So he will bat for Hayden Carbone. Carbone singled all 3 times, or apologies, both times in this game. Lowe takes a look at a first pitch. Away for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch is also away for ball 2.
Number 27, Isaac Lowe, is pinch hitting for number 14, Hayden Carbone.
Low, a lefty batter. Open stance out towards right field. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Lawrence with 2 strikeouts in this game. And there's a strike down the middle, so the count goes to 2-2. That ball was right down the middle of fastball. You wonder if Lowe wants that one back. Here's the 2-2 from Lawrence. And that ball is fouled right back into the Generals' dugout. Count remains 2-2. Carbone played well out in left field, singled in the second inning, singled in the fourth inning, came around to score both times. Lowe's first at bat, here's the 2-2. And that ball is flared high into the air, foul back out of play and out of the ballpark, so the count remains 2-2. Lowe had 1 hit and a double in his last appearance, but this time he strikes out to James Lawrence. So it's a swing and a miss for Lowe, and Lawrence gets the first out of the inning. Riley Summers will now be up to bat. Reached on an error in the second, singled in the fourth. Apologies, that is also not Riley Summers. We will check out who the new pinch hitter is here in a second.
Kai Strasser.
Looks to be Kai Strasser now in the game for Riley Summers. Strasser takes a look at a strike, so the count 1-1 against Kai Strasser. Strasser played shortstop and pitcher for the Davalin Tigers this past season, en route to the Tigers' first state championship appearance. This time he's going to chop it to the third base side. Fisher's going to come up, make the play, throws over to Macarini. Is in time for the second out of the inning. And I believe we have another pinch hitter for the Generals.
Next up for the Generals, pinch hitting for Travis Berger, number 17, Trey McBroom.
And this is going to be Trey McBroom, number 17. So 3 substitutions in this inning for the Generals. And McBroom takes a look at a ball 1 down in the dirt. A list of great names we've seen in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League this entire season. Trey McBroom's got to be up there. Here's the 1-0 from Lawrence, and that ball is flared high into the air. That one's going out of play foul, so it counts 1-1. Berger reached on an error and then grounded out in the second inning as that ball bounces in and ricochets off the head of Satterley for ball 2. His day is done, so there will be substitutions at second base, center field, and left field. When the Generals go back out to field, Isaac Lowe will be in left field. Kai Strasser will step in at shortstop. And then Trey McBroom will go to second base. Pat Williamson coming out just to make sure his catcher is okay. Counts 2-1 against McBroom. Infield playing deep for the Jacks. Johnny Robledo also playing very deep at center field. Here's the 2-1 to McBroom. Swing and a miss. Count 2-2 with 2 outs here in the 6th. Jacks still trail by 2. Looking to put up their third goose egg defensively in the last 3 innings. Here's the 2-2 to McBroom. That ball's going to be chopped up through the gap. Coming over to make the play is Miller. The throw over to first is in time. McBroom is swept away, and so are the Generals. We head to the bottom half of the 6th inning here at Kelly McGregor Field. The Jacks trail by 2. Stick around. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to All-Star Park. Bottom half of the sixth inning between your Colorado Lumberjacks and the visitors, the Denver Generals. Gens lead the Jacks 5-3. Johnny Robledo will lead things off here for the Lumberjacks. Reached on a walk-in and a single in this game, looking to lead things off in the sixth.
For your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
Lumberjacks have had the leadoff man the last 2 innings. Have been unsuccessful in getting any runs home. Have to change that here. Here's the first pitch of Robledo. That is fouled back. The count 0-1 against Robledo. Play here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. The 0-1 pitch from Morton, once again fouled back behind home plate. The count 0-2. Josh Miller will come out of the dugout to grab that foul ball. Cooper Nider not being bothered with that. Here's the 0-2 from Morton. In the dirt, Perry has to stop that. Count goes to 1-2. Morton has done well in his relief effort. Here's the 1-2 pitch that bounces outside for ball 2. Morton came in the fourth inning. He's put up 2 scoreless innings, despite giving up some leadoff singles. Jacks have been unable to capitalize in big moments. Here's the 2-2. High and away for ball 3. Robledo ahead in the count. Three-two to Robledo's outside, and he walked him for the third consecutive inning. The Jacks have the leadoff man on, and they'll bring up Cooper Nider.
Next for your Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Now, Nider has struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. He does have some power in that bat, as we saw last week with a couple home runs. How big would one be here in this spot? Morton throws over to first base to chase Robledo. Chandler Gilbert Community College, where Cooper Nider plays his ball. Runner goes. And that's going to get away from Perry. Robledo down to second base. Leadoff man now on second with no outs. First pitch was a ball. Robledo was halfway between second and first, was looking like he was going back to first until he saw that ball squirt out of the mid of Perry. So now he's at second. The new shortstop, Kai Strasser, cheating towards second base. Robledo goes, swing and a miss, but Robledo will get to third base. Wasting no time, taking 2 bags. Johnny Robledo, 90 feet away from the 4th run of the game. Count 1-1 against Cooper Nider. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a swing and a miss. Kyler Vaughn waiting on deck for the Jacks. Hoping Nider could get aboard. Here's the 1-2 from Morton. And that is low for ball 2. Nider with a closed stance. Here's the 2-2 from Morton. High and inside for ball 3. Morton was ahead in this count 1-2. He now has fallen behind 3-2. Here comes the full count pitch. Robledo at third base. Here's the 3-2. Bounces in for ball 4. Walked him again. So back-to-back walks to begin the 6th inning. Jacks have runners at the corners with no outs for the top of the order.
Lumberjacks, left fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
So Vaughn 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. Flew out to the second baseman. Davis Berger at the time, who has now been replaced by Trey McBroom. Vaughn in a big spot here in the 6th inning. Here's the first pitch from Morton. Runner goes. The throw down to second base is in time, but Johnny Robledo is going to steal home in the chaos. So Cooper Nider is out at second. Robledo comes home, and the Jacks have their 4th run. So now the bases are empty for Kyler Vaughn. Jacks get the 4th run. Count 0-1 against Vaughn, and this time Vaughn's going to chop it up the gap. McBroom's going to make the play. The throw over to first base is in time for the 2nd out of the inning for the Generals. Brings up Josh Miller now.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, shortstop number 8, Josh Miller.
Miller's looking for his first hit of the game. Flew out to center field in the 1st, grounded out to the shortstop in the 3rd. Then grounded out to Berger in the 4th inning. Here's the first pitch from Morton. Swing and a miss by Miller. Bethany Lutheran College. That's where Josh Miller plays his college ball. Takes a look at a ball in there for ball 1. Count 1-1. 1-1 for Morton. Fouled back out of play, so the count in favor now of Hayden Morton. 1-2. Oh, Damian Fisher on deck. Fisher's been on base a couple of times. Would love the opportunity in the 6th inning. Here's the 1-2. Inside for ball 2. Morton has 4 walks in his outing so far. Center fielder Gunnar Hetrick's playing a little baseball by himself out there at center field as Miller fouls that one back down the third base line. He was either practicing his swing at the plate or his, looks like his 3-wood swing. So the count remains 2-2. Here's the 2-2 from Morton. And that ball chopped down the third base line once again. A couple of fans running after those foul balls, aware that they could earn some free Chick-fil-A from Chick-fil-A at Belmar. Seven hits in this game for the Jacks, 6 for the Generals. 2-2 to Miller, and that ball is popped high into the air. Thompson is going to watch this ball go out of play, so the count will remain 2-2, 3 straight foul balls from Josh Miller. We have a couple of players up in both bullpens. Doesn't seem like anybody is throwing. 2-2. That ball is popped high into the air. Perry's going to come in. He'll make the grab and end the inning, but the Jacks get one back. Johnny Robledo comes home to score on the steal. They trail 5-4. We head to the 7th inning at All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks.
The Colorado Lumberjacks have made a pitching change, replacing number 21, James Lawrence, number 16, Julian Garza.
Welcome back to All-Star Park.
Leading off for Denver, first baseman number 15, Charlie Thompson.
Jacks trail 5-4. I believe we have a new batter up at the plate for the Generals. It's Logan Seafarth. And Seafarth follows the 1-0 pitch high and out of play. Seafarth stepping in for Hetrick. So now that is 4 consecutive batters who've been replaced on this Generals team. The 0-1 pitch is fouled back out of play. Julian Garza also now on the mound for the Jacks.
Hendricks, number 35, Logan Seaforth.
So Seaforth behind the count 1-2 to Garza, the Adams State University pitcher. And the 1-2 is inside for ball 2. One of the Jacks managers will come out to make sure that the home plate umpire can get the ball back. The count 2-2 for Garza. Lawrence did well, surrendered no earned runs in his outing. Here's the 2-2 from Garza, and that ball is smacked through the gap. It's going to be a base hit for Logan Seafarth.
Next for Denver, catcher number 10, Cannon Perry.
So now Cannon Perry, the first General to not have been taken out of this game in the last 4 batters. The catcher up to bat. 0 for 2 in this contest. That was also hit by a pitch in the second inning. Seafarth incredibly fast at first base, has a sizable lead. And for the second time in this game, Cannon Perry has been hit in the back. So now Seafarth goes to second, Perry on first, and no outs in the top half of the 7th inning. And we have another pinch hitter as Tristan Walters is now going to bat for Charlie Thompson.
Pinch hitting for number 15, Charlie Thompson, number 33.
Tristan Walters. Apologies, I said that like I was doing the PA. So here's the first pitch to Walters, and that's low, and it gets away from Satterley. Both runners will advance. And now real danger territory for the Jacks. 2 men on with a new pitcher. Tristan Walters with his first at-bat. Thompson struck out in the first, struck out in the 4th. Flew out to left field in the second inning. And don't look now, but there's another pinch hitter on deck for the Generals. That's going to be Brody McBroom, who's waiting on deck. The McBroom brothers now in the game for the Generals. Here comes the 1-1 to Walters, and that ball is smacked high in the air into center field. This one's deep. Robletto's going to make the grab. 1 run's going to score. Perry goes to third base, and it's an RBI sac fly for Tristan Walters.
Up next for the Generals, pinch hitting for third baseman number 11, Logan Manuel, is number 16, Brody McBroom.
So Brody McBroom now up to bat. That is the 5th substitution made in the last 6 batters. Here's the pitch from Garza, swing and a miss there by McBroom. So 1 strike to McBroom. The Generals have their 2-run lead back. Here's the 0-1 from Garza, swing and a miss again by McBroom. Garza ahead in the count, 0-2. Began this inning with a single and a hit by pitch. Here's the 0-2 to McBroom, outside for ball one, and we have another pinch hitter on deck for the Generals. It's a wholesale line change as Jack Knapp waits on deck. Here's the 1-2 to McBroom, and that's in the dirt for ball two. Runner goes on the throw home. Satterley gets run over, but Perry is going to get up. It was an awkward play. It didn't seem like Perry was trying to run over Satterley. Satterley was hoping to make the play on the ball. It got past him. But that's another run on a base steal by Cannon Perry as he stole home. The score now 7-4. Nobody on for Brody McBroom. 3-2 pitch is in there for strike three. McBroom goes down looking. And that's the second out of the inning.
Next up for the Generals, pitch hitting for number 23, Heath Perry, number 18, Jack Knapp.
So Colin Poole and Cannon Perry are the only two guys who have not been taken out of this game for the Generals. As the first pitch from Garza is in the dirt for ball one. And Colin Poole's day seems to be done as well. The 1-0 pitch from Garza is outside for ball two. And the 2-0 pitch is inside for strike one, so the count 2-1. Garza behind on Jake Knapp. New pinch hitter. The 2-1 pitch is outside for ball three. Apologies. Colin Poole will remain in this game. I had my numbers wrong on my sheet. So he is on deck. So Poole and Perry, the only two survivors of this wholesale line change for the Generals. And Knapp at his first at-bat, stepping in for Heath Perry. And the count 3-1. Here comes the 3-1 from Garza, and that is inside. Makes contact with the home plate umpire's knee. He seems okay, but it's a walk for Garza, and Knapp goes to first base.
Now batting for the Generals, designated hitter number 21, Colin Poole.
So Poole doubled in the second, flew out to right field in the third, grounded out to Mason Regan at second base in his last at-bat. Now he has a runner on. The Generals have gotten two back. Here's the first pitch from Garza, and that's going to be chopped foul on the third base line. Knapp was running the entire way there. He'll go back to first. Three-run lead, the largest the Generals have had since they scored three in the top half of the second inning. And the 1-0 from Garza gets away, and it'll go back behind home plate. So Knapp will go to second base. Apologies, the 0-1, so now the count 1-1. Julian Garza coming in this inning for James Lawrence, who replaced the starter Trent Jacobs, who went 3 innings. Garza takes a look back at second base. Here's the 1-1, and that's inside, and once again it gets away from Satterley. Knapp goes to third base, so it's back-to-back wild pitches, back-to-back steals for Jake Knapp. Apologies, Jack Knapp will now be stepping in at right field. Two-one from Garza, right down the middle for strike two. So now the count 2-2. Big pitch upcoming, or big couple of pitches for Julian Garza. The lead 3 manageable for the Jacks. You don't want it to grow much beyond this. Here's the 2-2 from Garza. In the dirt this time. Satterley's able to block it, but the count is full. And you have Isaac Lowe on deck. Satterley sets up outside. 3-2 from Garza, and that is inside. As Colin Poole will walk down to first base. It's back-to-back walks for Julian Garza, and now Isaac Lowe up to bat with runners in the corners.
Left fielder number 27, Isaac Lowe.
Lowe struck out last inning in his first at-bat, relieving Hayden Carbone. And Lowe, a towering lefty batter, now facing Garza. Here's the first pitch from Garza, and that's in there for ball 1. Looking like it may have just crossed over the corner of the plate. But instead will be called ball. Knapp at third, Poole at first. Here's the 1-0. Right down the middle. That one is strike 1. They count 1-1 against Lowe. Lowe, 3 home runs on the season for the Generals. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that is high and outside corner of the plate for strike 2. Garza looking to end the inning on a strikeout. It would be his second strikeout of the inning. Takes a look over at first base. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got Lowe swinging. The second time Lowe's gone down swinging the last 2 innings. The Generals get 2. Jacks are able to limit them at that. They trail 7-4. We head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's stretch time here at All-Star Park. Stick around. We'll be right back. We're back here at All-Star Parks. Bottom half of the 7th inning set to begin. The Jacks trail the Generals 7-4. Lucas Yamanaka.
Lumberjax, third baseman number 17, Damian Fisher.
Lucas Yamanaka, the new pitcher on the mound for the Lumberjacks. For the Generals. 4.5 ERA. And his only outing against the Jacks this season. Gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs. And he's going to face Damian Fisher to kick things off in the 7th. First pitch is in there for strike 1. A little bit of a drizzle beginning to fall here in Lakewood. Nothing people from Colorado and around these parts haven't seen. There's the 0-1 from Yamanaka, and that's in the dirt for ball 1. Fisher's had a good game, a single walk. Was left on third base in the 5th inning after leading things off with that walk. 1-1 from Yamanaka is high for ball 2. Here comes the 2-1 from Yamanaka. And that ball is smacked. Is it going to get through the gap? No, Strasser's there. The throw over to first base is in time. Great play by Kai Strasser to get Damian Fisher out. So it's a 6-3 ground ball, and Elias Frenier now
next for the Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Frenier.
Lucas Yamanaka, pitcher at Pacific University. Here's the first pitch to Frenier. That's in there for strike 1. Yamanaka working quickly, towering pitcher. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss by Frenier. Frenier with a double in the 3rd. Other than that, it's been a fly out and a strikeout. Behind the count, 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 to Frenier, and that ball is launched high into the air into right field. Knapp is going to come under it and make the grab for the 2nd out of the inning. Now they'll bring up Mason Regan.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
Nobody on, 2 outs, bottom half of the 7th inning. Regan singled in the 2nd. Besides that, it's been a couple of outs as that 7-hit mark has been there for a couple of innings now. 7 hits apiece. The first pitch from Yamanaka is swung on and missed by Regan. Infield playing normal depth. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss again by Regan. I believe that time he actually made some contact, so the count will still go to 0-2. Yamanaka looking for the quick 1-2-3 inning. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Jacks strike out for the 5th time tonight. They go down 1-2-3 inning, or 1-2-3. We head to the 8th inning here at All-Star Park. Jacks trail by 3. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. We're back here at All-Star Park, set to begin the 8th inning. Hayden Biaggi, the new pitcher for the Jacks, number 2. And he will lead things off against Kai Strasser.
Colorado Lumberjacks made a pitching change, replacing number 16, Julian Garza, number 2, Hayden Biaggi.
Jacks on their 4th pitcher in this game. Garza came in to throw 1 inning. James Lawrence came in relief, threw a couple of stellar innings, relieving Trent Jacobs, the starting pitcher today for the Jacks. Strasser. This will be his second at-bat since replacing Riley Summers in the 6th inning. Grounded out to the third baseman, Damian Fisher, in his first at-bat. Made a great play at shortstop in the last inning, as I was mentioning. His first at-bat was a part of that Davelin Jaguars team that made it all the way to the 3A state baseball championships before falling to the University Bulldogs. That Davelin team upsetting a couple of teams on their way to that state title appearance, including the second overall seed, the Eaton Reds, in dramatic fashion. Well, not really, actually, defeating them 12-7. Strasser now up to bat facing Biaggi. Here's the first pitch from Biaggi, and that is inside for ball 1. Biaggi working slow. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That ball is chopped up between the gap. Is Miller going to be able to make the play? The throw over to first base is in time. Good play by Josh Miller. 2 pitches, 1 out for Biaggi.
Up next for the Generals, number 17, Trey McBroom.
4.2 innings pitched this season for Biaggi. Giving up 5 earned runs. But he does have 8 strikeouts. And the first pitch to Trey McBroom is inside for ball 1. McBroom grounded out to Miller in his first at-bat. Takes a look at ball 2 down the middle. There's the 2-0 from Biaggi, and that ball is smacked, and Miller makes a diving play but is unable to get it. It goes into left field. Vaughn will throw it in, and Trey McBroom gets his first single of the game.
Next up for the Generals, number 35, center fielder Logan Seaforth.
And that brings up Logan Seaforth. Seaforth singled back in the 7th inning. Follows the first pitch high and out of play. Count 0-1 against him. Seaforth grounds it to the third base side. It's bobbled by Fisher. Is the play at first going to happen? It is, and he is out. Great job by Damian Fisher to stay composed after bobbling the first bounce. McBroom goes to second, but the Jacks get the important second out. Strong throw by Damian Fisher. Now Cannon Perry, one of 2 starters for the Generals still in this ball game, up to bat with a runner in scoring position. 2 outs here in the 8th. First pitch from Biaggi is outside for ball 1. Tristan Walters waits on deck. Biaggi takes a look back at second base. Here's the 1-0. Outside, ball 2. Unable to see down into the Generals' dugout to see if anybody else is warming up, although Yamanaka made quick work of the Jacks in their last inning. That 2-1 pitch is in there for strike 1 by Biaggi. Perry with an open stance has been hit by not 1 pitch, but 2 pitches in this game. Here's the 2-1 from Biaggi, and that must be outside for ball 3. Satterley's unable to hold on to that. So Biaggi in a tough spot. Advantage Perry. Taking a look back at second base. Here's the 3-1. That ball is smacked high into the air. This one's going to be trouble, and it gets down foul. As Fisher was on his horse trying to track that ball down. Said it bounces away, so the count now full. Big pitch upcoming for Biaggi. Jacks trail by 3. They'd love to keep it that way. Runner in scoring position. Represented by Trey McBroom. Biaggi takes a look back at second base. Open stance. Here's the 3-2, and that ball is smacked foul down the first base side. As Perry had to catch up to that high fastball. Count still remains full. Infield playing normal depth, so is the outfield. Jacks trail by 3. Generals with 8 hits, Jacks with 7. Here's the 3-2 from Biaggi. And that ball is smacked into center field. This one's going to be trouble for Robledo, but he's going to track it down and make the grab. Hayden Biaggi comes into the game in the 8th inning, gives up 0 runs. The lead remains 3 for the Generals, and the Jacks will bat in the bottom half of the 8th inning when we return to All-Star Park. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Generals. We're back at All-Star Park for the bottom half of the 8th inning. Jacks trailed the Gens by a score of 7-4. Lucas Yamanaka still on the mound for the Denver Generals, and he's going to have to face Bryson Satterley, who's been on base all 3 times this game, a single, a double, and a walk.
Leading things off for your Lumberjacks, catcher number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Followed up with Gino Macarini and Johnny Robledo. Bottom half of the order for the Jacks has been stellar in this game. Only 4 runs to show for it on 7 hits. Just 6 outs remaining for these Jacks batters. Here's the first pitch to Satterley, and that's high and inside for ball 1. One 0 pitch to Satterley. Low and outside for ball 2, so Bryson quickly ahead in the count. Perry set up outside. Here's the 2-0 from Yamanaka. And that is in there for strike 1. Satterley steps out of the box. Yamanaka went 1-2-3 his first inning pitching. And the 2-1 pitch is high for ball 3. Yamanaka came in the 7th inning in relief for Hayden Morton. Jackson scored 1 run in the last 5. Here comes the 3-1 from Yamanaka, and that is high for ball 4. So Satterley, for the 4th time in this game, reaches. Brings up Macarini.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, first baseman number 26, Gino Macarini.
Macarini got things going for the Jacks in the 2nd inning with a 2-run RBI double. Since then, he's grounded out and flown out, but boy, would this be a big spot for him to get this ball out of the infield. There's the first pitch from Yamanaka that bounces in. Satterley not going for ball one.
Courtesy running for Bryson Satterley, number 9, Zach Perry.
Zach Perry, courtesy running for Satterley. Perry with a big lead at first. Here's the 1-0 to Macarini, and that's high for ball two. Macarini has made a couple of really good plays today at first base. The 2-0, and Yamanaka will throw it to first base to chase Perry back to the bag. Perry gets back safely. This game zooming by just a little over 2 hours since we've started. We're already in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike one, as the outside corner of this plate for righty batters has been getting those calls. Yamanaka throws over again to first base, and Perry, much like the first attempt, is able to get back safely. And third time's the charm for Yamanaka as he throws over to first base, but third time's the charm for Zach Perry as he gets back safe. General's really trying to keep the leadoff runner at first. See if Perry decides to go. Here's the 2-1, and that's a breaking ball right down the middle for strike two. Count 2-2 against Gino Macarini. Yamanaka throws over to first. This time, this ball gets away from the first baseman, Tristan Walters. And Yamanaka was trying to protect against the steal. Instead, it's a wild throw that gets Zach Perry to second base. Rain in the forecast here in the next hour in the Denver metro area. Count 2-2 against Gino Macarini. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that ball is going to be chopped softly. Yamanaka is going to have to come and make the play. He'll flip it over to Walters at first, but that's going to advance Zach Perry over to third base. One out in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 1, Johnny Robledo.
So Johnny Robledo now up to bat. Has reached in his last 2 times up to bat. He singled in the 4th. Actually, he's reached all 3 times tonight. Walked in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and walked in the 6th inning. Yamanaka's first pitch is fouled. It's a screamer back towards the Generals' dugout. Count 0-1 against Robledo. Johnny Robledo's had a heck of a game, not just at the plate, but also out in center field. As the wind is now howling out towards center field. And the 0-1 is fouled high into the air. McBroom camping under it will make the grab. Runner holds as Perry looked like he was going. Now the Generals have 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. Runner still on third base.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Now Cooper Nider up to bat, struck out in the 2nd and the 4th. Was able to walk in the 6th inning before getting thrown out on a steal. However, his steal did score Johnny Robledo, who was at third base. And the first pitch to Nider is in high. For ball one, the Jacks cannot leave another man stranded in scoring position. They've already left 4 today. Here's the 1-0 to Nider, and that's high and inside again for ball 2. Yamanaka working quickly. Robledo at third. The 2-0 pitch is outside for ball 3. Top of the order waiting, and Kyler Vaughn. Vaughn 0 for 4 on the day. But surely would love an opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Here comes the 3-0 to Nider, and that is high for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk for Cooper Nider, his second consecutive walk. Runners at the corners and 2 outs.
Now batting for Colorado, left fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
So Nider at first. Zach Perry, who came on for Bryson Satterley as a courtesy runner, on third. And Vaughn in a big spot in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jacks need to get a run in here. Here's the first pitch from Yamanaka, and that ball is lifted high into the air into left field. Is this one going to get down? Yes, it is. 1 run will score. It will go over the wall for a ground rule double. But a big hit for Kyler Vaughn gets this game back within 2, and the Jacks have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th.
Up next for your Lumberjacks, shortstop number 8, Josh Miller.
So now Josh Miller, also 0 for 4 in this contest, has Kyler Vaughn at second and Cooper Nider at third. A single would tie this ball game up. Yamanaka now in the tough spot. Here's the first pitch to Miller, and that ball is flared into right field. Is this one going to get down? It is not. Jack Knapp makes a good play. The Jacks get 1. They leave 2 stranded. The lead is now down to 2 for the Generals. The score is 7-5. We head to the 9th and final inning here at All-Star Park. Stick around. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks.
Fielder number 33, Tristan Walkers.
Back here at All-Star Park, 9th inning between the Denver Generals and your Colorado Lumberjacks. Jacks trail 7-5. Tristan Walters leading things off. Hayden Biaggi still on the mound for Colorado. Walters with an RBI sac fly in the 7th inning. Takes a look at ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that ball is smacked to the shortstop. Miller's going to come up, make the throw. Over to Macarini. It's 2 pitches and 1 out for the Jacks. That's going to bring up Brody McBroom.
Now batting for the Generals, number 16, Brody McBroom.
So McBroom struck out looking in the 7th inning and fouls the first pitch away. Count 0-1 against McBroom. McBroom came into the game for Logan Manuelo. One of 2 McBroom brothers on this Denver Generals team. There's the 0-1 to McBroom, and that ball is fouled back high out of play. So the count now quickly 0-2. Here's the 0-2 from Biaggi. High for ball one. Jack Knapp waiting on deck for the Generals. Here's the 1-2 from Biaggi, and that ball just fouled away by Brody McBroom to stay alive. Here's the 1-2 again from Biaggi, and that ball once again fouled out of play down the first base line. The fourth foul ball of the at-bat for Brody McBroom. Infield getting some assignments from head coach Pat Williamson. Here's the 1-2, and that is right down the middle for strike three. The second consecutive looking strikeout by Brody McBroom. And the Generals have two outs.
Right fielder number 8, Jack Knapp.
Knapp walked in the seventh inning, was able to advance to second base. Made a good play to end the attack for the Jacks in the eighth. Here's the first pitch from Biaggi. Swing and a miss on a fastball right down the middle. Eight hits apiece for both the Gens and the Jacks. Denver Generals lead the Colorado Lumberjacks 7-5. The 0-1 pitch is right down the middle again for strike two. Biaggi looking for back-to-back strikeouts and to end the ninth inning for the Generals. Here's the 0-2 from Biaggi. It was a check swing by Knapp. He went. The throw down to first base is in time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Hayden Biaggi and the Jacks. It's do or die time for the Lumberjacks. We head to the bottom of the ninth inning at All-Star Park. Stick around. Should be a good conclusion on the Colorado Lumberjacks Baseball Network. Welcome back to All-Star Park. Lucas Yamanaka still on the mound for the Denver Generals. And the Jacks need to score 2 to keep this game going. 3 will give the Colorado Lumberjacks the lead. The wind has picked up incredibly over the last 25 minutes or so, and the wind blowing out towards center field. You got to hope that the Jacks get a hold of one. That wind is going to help.
Lumberjacks third baseman number 17, Damian Fisher.
So now it's Damian Fisher to lead things off against Lucas Yamanaka, who's come in relief and thrown 2 scoreless innings. Here's the first pitch to Fisher, and that is down the middle for strike one. Fisher with a single in the first. Other than that, walked in the fifth, grounded out back in the seventh inning. Here's the 0-1 from Yamanaka, and that is in the dirt for ball one. count 1-1 against Damian Fisher, who's had a very good game at third base defensively. Here's the 1-1. That ball is launched, and it's going to be caught. Or check that, it was on a bounce, but the throw will be made over to first base in time. Walters makes the grab, and Fisher is down in the ninth. So Elias Frenier now up to bat.
Lumberjacks, the designated hitter number 34, Elias Frenier.
Frenier with a double in the third inning. He also has a strikeout and a couple of flyouts. Jacks trail by 2, 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Open stance for Frenier. Swings at a first pitch. It's going to the second baseman, McBroom. The throw over to first base is in time. It's one pitch and another out, and now the Jacks are down to their final out.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, second baseman number 5, Mason Regan.
So it all comes down to Mason Regan. Bryson Satterley, who's been on all 4 times, is waiting on deck. Regan singled in the second. Besides that, it's been 3 outs. First pitch, Yamanaka bounces it in for ball 1. Infield at normal depth, wind still whipping out towards center field. Here's the 1-0 from Yamanaka. And that is low and inside for ball 2. Mason Regan struck out back in the 7th inning. Here's the 2-0 from Yamanaka, and that ball is launched high into the air towards center field. Seafarth is going to make the grab, and that's going to do it. So the Jacks fall to the Denver Generals by a final score of 7-5. Story in this contest, the 3 errors for the Colorado Lumberjacks, as well as the 5 men left on base and scoring position. The Generals get revenge on the Jacks from the January 16th loss. The Jacks will be back in action here tomorrow night.
Lumberjacks would like to thank you for attending today's game. For more Lumberjacks info, please follow us on all of our social media channels at Go Lumberjacks. And check out our website at golumberjacks.com. The Lumberjacks would like to thank you all for attending today's game. Please drive home safely.
So that's going to do it for our broadcast here from All-Star Park. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Another awesome night at the ballpark. Unfortunately, the result does not match the evening as the Jacks fall to the Generals by a final score of 7-5. Lots more baseball coming from All-Star Park all summer. Come down, watch the Colorado Lumberjacks play. But for me, Ben Canvasser, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks.